What is going on, guys? For today's review, I have the brand new for 2023, 7 foot long, roughly about, I think, 4.5 feet tall, Snoopy motorcycle inflatable being sold at Lowe's this year for $150. Right off the bat, there are several things that I actually love about this design. First things first is that it's something different and new that we haven't seen much of in the past. You know, I think they did actually make a Snoopy motorcycle about like a decade plus ago, really. I think actually back in like 2012, that was sold at, I believe, either Lowe's or Home Depot. Someone can fact check me on that. But so this is not like a brand new design, like they've never done something like this before, but still it is a new modern take on a classic. Well, I consider 2012 inflatables classics, but on a classic design. But so that's the first thing that I really instantly, right off the bat, love about this one. Also, second is this box design. Same with the Grinch box designs this year, and maybe even a couple more than that. This is so phenomenal. I actually did get an Air Adorable earlier this year, at the very beginning of the year. I think in like January or February. It's the Valentine's Day Snoopy Air Adorable that has the same box art, but I never really noticed it until now. But every season has a different box design this year. Meaning like individual seasons, where like the Valentine's Day one was this pink, instead of the green it was pink, and it had different Valentine's Day comics, where these are all Christmas comics, and it has the green backdrop with presents and Snoopy and Santa outfit. As you can see, the base fan is pretty visible from what we see on the picture here. Also, I am pretty worried that this is going to be pretty small, but I mean, also, you know, you're paying for the license and whatever, so I understand why it's $150, but right off the bat, also, I would have rather preferred it to be like $100. I know that if it was sold at like Walmart or something, it would be probably $100, and I'd say At Home would probably sell it for like $130, like the Mickey Mouse scene there. But anyway, that's enough about just the general appearance of it. Let's go ahead and get this guy unboxed. Here's a good look at the lid with all those Christmas comics I was talking about. Classic Snoopy Christmas comics. Up there's the Lowe's code. You can go find it. This is being sold in stores and online at Lowe's. At Lowe's, rarely ever really does online exclusives, but I think they do have a couple this year. They did have a couple for Halloween and Christmas. But as I unbox this, the first thing I really expect here is this. There's no way this has a tornado fan. This absolutely has an 80 or maybe a slow starter. Slow starters are typically exclusive to Home Depot, though, but maybe there has been few in the past that have had slow starters from other stores. But let's go ahead and take a look here. Standard base fan stake packs. I do assume this actually does have the extra base pins for the front tire here. Basic instructions. And then I think, is that what it is right there? Yeah, actually, I think that's exactly what that is. This is the front tire, I think, what I was talking about. I think there actually might be one on either side, which is interesting. So let's go ahead and get this guy out of the box, and we'll check the date, and we'll check the fan. So as expected, this guy does have an YF80. Since they started doing the actual engraving on the fan rather than just slapping the silver sticker on it, it's harder to read it, but that is a YF80. And check the date here. It is from April of 2023. It's made pretty much the same time as the Halloween stuff. I just noticed my fingernails, man, they are dirty. I've been taking down the Halloween stuff actually in these last few days, but I need to, before I do the next review, I'll clean underneath my fingernails. But another thing to mention here, as I have it laid out here, is that it is tiny. This is very tiny. The fan itself is like the size of my palm, really. I don't really notice that 80s and stuff are that small, but this is just right here. Here's just the overall look of it. It is very, very tiny, but who knows? Could be a bigger, more wide inflatable when it's actually inflated. So let's go ahead and get this guy inflated. So here it is inflated, and again, as expected, this is very, very, very tiny. I mean, instantly right off the bat, just something leading up to the overall rating at the end here, the price is not going to be a good rating. I mean, this is $150 for something so tiny. I mean, this is like 75 bucks at most. I think this should be the same price as the 6.5 footers as the cheap fans, but yeah, this is absolutely tiny. No, in no way is this justified to spend $150 on this, plus tax. But overall, some of the details, it is overall a great design. I love this design. It's just, it's the size. It's if it were much bigger, like this is only 7 feet long. Literally, his hat is up to about my stomach. It's like, it's not big whatsoever. And that I have seen a couple other videos on this one, but it doesn't really do it justice because they don't. It's not really, you can't depict it on camera of just how tiny this is. But here's a view from the other side here. You have to fix these handlebars to go in the middle, but if you're looking for specific base fans as like bigger ones, like that's the direction I'm trying to go in more, is more base fans, more licensed ones to build up these nice scenes of licensed characters, then I gotta say, wait until this. I'm sure Bob, who runs yardinflatables.com, go check him out. I constantly advise people to check out his website, yardinflatables.com, but he always gets the aftermarket stuff. So this should be on his website. Either it might already be on it right now. I haven't checked, but when he gets it in here, after a while, I'd say for next year, he'll probably discount it down to 80 bucks. It's not worth anything more than that, really. Like he had that mailbox scene. That mailbox was sold at Lowe's back in 2018, I believe, 2017 or 18, and for like 150 bucks, same as this. But I think he discounted it down to like 110. But you guys should definitely go check this and see if it's on his website in the coming year here, next season. But for sure, it won't be any, and this goes for any aftermarket resellers like Tis Your Season. You guys should go check them out too. They have some exclusive inflatables like the Haunted Mansion organ player that I got this year, and the Oogie Boogie with his Wheel of Death, which is really interesting. But when they get this one, if they do get this one, I'm sure that it'll be discounted as well. And as far as Seasons inflatables goes, they're probably even going to mark it up even higher. It's probably going to be 170 with them. But overall, that's just the overall view during the day. Just to give you guys a bit of a perspective of just how small that one is. I mean, the last review I did just a couple days ago, I filmed a review of the 21-foot sleigh that was here, that I had right here inflated, and this is like the same size as it's actually smaller than the reindeer on that sleigh. And yeah, this is very, very tiny. But overall, that is the view during the day. Let's go ahead and get the night view. So now that we've taken a good look at it, let's go ahead and rate it. So first things first is design, and design, I gotta give him credit. This is a really cool design, a really cool Snoopy design that we don't see very often, as I mentioned at the beginning of the review. So I gotta say this one gets an 8.5. 8.5 seems very fair for the design. As far as quality goes, Quality, I factor that size into it because, I mean, again, I keep mentioning this, is that when I'm rating these, it's more of like they take the design. The design is something separate than the actual specs. And then for as far as quality goes, they determine, you know, what would be appropriate, what size would be appropriate, and what equipment goes in it. So I gotta say, with quality, I mean, it is on par with about how, like, if you imagine Snoopy was real, and that's about the same size as he would be. He's the same size as the regular dog, and Woodstock is just about the same size. So I guess, you know, I don't have too much of an issue with the quality of it. So I gotta say about 7 out of 10. But then there's price. Price, as I mentioned earlier, will not get a good rating here. I mean, I gotta say, price is a solid 4 out of 10. Terrible price, $150 for something like this that's so unbelievably tiny. And again, as I mentioned earlier, it is worth just about $60 to $70, and that's an absolute max. You should 100% get this one on clearance if it's still available. That's like 50% off. $75 isn't too terrible, but 100%. I like this one, that's why I want to keep him in my display. But like if you're factoring in the price into stuff, then really don't get this one. If you budget your money for your display, and you want to get the best quality, the best inflatable for your money, then this is probably not the right choice. But overall, I gotta say about a 4 out of 10. A 4 out of 10 for price is pretty realistic. Then the overall score, I gotta say a solid 6.5 out of 10. And that it would be higher if the price was more decent and if the size was better. Because, I mean, well, at least, you know, what I'm planning on using it for in this little Snoopy scene, I guess it would fit in pretty well. But it's a really big shame that it's not bigger and that it's not a more affordable price for some people. But overall, I gotta say a solid 6 to 6.5 is very fair. But overall, that's pretty much all there is to say about this one. It is a very cool design, but it is just such a shame that Lowe's is going in this direction where, like, they only get smaller stuff now. I mean, for Halloween, the tallest one was the Mickey candy corn that was 9.5 feet, where in the past they used to have the 18-foot jacks for 2 years before that, and then they're constant 12-footers and everything. But it's sad that now, what's the tallest one for Christmas? I think it's the Nutcracker, which was 12 feet. But it is just really unfortunate that this is the direction they're going in, of like smaller inflatables. But at least they're pretty cool designs, and you got to give them credit for that. But it is a shame to see that Lowe's is going in that direction, while Home Depot is going in the direction of, like, mark my words, within the next couple years, Home Depot's inflatables will probably be online exclusives, and they won't even be sold in stores, which is very unfortunate. And then At Home's going with all knockoffs now. But overall, you know, you gotta make do with what you got. And I'm overall glad that I have this and add it to my display. But if you're buying this one for quality or some, or like to get the best inflatable for your money, I would probably hold off and go with something else until it's 50 or 75% off. But overall, there's my review on this brand new for 2023. 7 foot long, roughly 4.5 feet tall Snoopy motorcycle being sold at Lowe's this year for $150. I'm the Inflatable Bastard. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.